Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined today with Frank Tropiano. Frank, today we are talking about Survivor Series, the premium live event this Saturday, the second to last John Cena appearance. I do believe that's true. Frank, first off, how you been? How you feeling about the product right now? What's going on?
Good, good. I feel good. We've had a lot of life happen. You especially have had a lot of life happen since the last time we've been on. So it's good to get back. But product right now, you know, there's not really a lot of stakes to what's going on in Survivor Series, and I recognize that. I don't really know if I care that much because of the amount of superstardom in the match, both matches really. Um, I think they're just, you know what? If it's going to be fun and entertaining and we're going to get not serious before we get very serious for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, then do it this way. You know what I mean? Pack the card like they did, and they have a lot of huge superstars in that match. And we'll break it down.
There's never really been stakes to Survivor Series. I feel like they've tried over the years a little bit. I know the SmackDown versus Raw used to be a thing, but it was for bragging rights. There was never really anything at stake per se.
I did love a good SmackDown versus Raw match. I don't know. Brand supremacy felt like the thing is if they were to do the draft at the right time, so we actually believed like SmackDown and Raw mattered, and then we had a brand supremacy thing, like I think that would be really cool. You know what I mean?
They don't have the discipline to keep it going.
You know what? And it's better that we don't have these strict rosters because now we can see anyone interact with anyone. I think that that's super important. That's way cooler. It's way cooler seeing Cody come to Raw and talk to Punk and Roman on both shows because no one even knows whose roster he's a part of. But it's good for 11 and a half months out of the year. These are the 2 weeks that it stinks.
All right, no, that's fair. I spoke a little bit about John in the intro here. We have to talk about the last time is now tournament. I'm definitely more critical than you are of these things, but I'll let you give your piece. I just want to start. For me, just like the farewell tour, this has felt pretty flat so far.
I don't hate the tournament. I'm interested to see who's moving on. I thought the two nice returns were really cool. Neither of them won. I would have had one of them at least win, but that's that. Maybe that's just nitpicking a little bit. I think it's really cool. I think it showcases the importance of John Cena's last match. I wish we had slightly bigger names in it. Like we see Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and look, Jey Uso, LA Knight, Gunther. Good, perfect. That's a great three to be in this tournament. But what about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? They could have been in too, right? What about
Well, Bronson
AJ?
Reed lost. Bronson Reed got knocked
Oh,
out.
that's right. You're right. Bronson Reed did lose, right? Penta, another one, great. Good. I know AJ Styles just had his match, but doesn't he want to retire him, right? Like, what about Randy Orton? Where's Randy Orton? Why is Randy Orton not in this? He doesn't want to retire John Cena. CM Punk should want to. I know all these guys already got a piece of the pie, and they wouldn't wind up winning, but it would just make the tournament feel better. So I'm not sour on it. I'm not down on it, but I do would have enjoyed a few more bigger names. Roman Reigns, obviously Seth Rollins is hurt, so that wouldn't have worked. Cody Rhodes, I mean, just Brock Lesnar. Obviously, we're not gonna have him in a weekly tournament. That's me probably being a little too unrealistic, but just it would have been cool.
And that is the hard part about all of this, because we talked about this for months, for probably close to a year now, for who's going to be John's last match. We ran through those names. We ran through Punk, Randy, whoever else might be, Edge, Jericho, all the other random names. But the people that are within WWE were used already in the Backlash. All these different matches they already had, they already used. And I see what you're saying. Like they don't have to win that match, but just to add a level of prestige and excitement. And I'm not. We'll talk about Gunther in a moment, but I'm not thrilled about Gunther. I don't really care that he's beating the guys he's beating, but if he was to beat Randy, if he was to beat Punk, like that would be like, okay, this is pretty legit now, but it kind of feels like it's mostly lower mid card guys, and then you have your Gunthers and your Jey Usos in the mix.
Roman, Randy, Seth would have made this a great tournament with LA, with Jay, with Gunther, and you're right because Gunther beating all of these guys that he's beating, absent LA Knight and Jey Uso, who I believe are pretty much on Gunther's level. Well, uh, I don't know if I could say that either. Gunther's probably slightly above them, but it's close. You know what I mean? Like it's close. Like where obviously Jay beat Gunther at WrestleMania, and LA Knight's had a few marquee matches, yet to win one, but has had a few. Um, loved the Carmelo Hayes match with Gunther. I thought it was just such a fun, excellent match. And and Carmelo hit his finisher, and everyone got really excited. And then Gunther kicked out, and he put him in the sleeper. It was really, really well done. It was just like a perfect. They got to do things with Carmelo Hayes, but I'm not going off on that tangent right now. Um, yeah, I just wish the deck was just a little bit more stacked. It would make when Gunther does eventually win this feel like it was really cool. I love Solo being in this. Penta, another guy I love. I love those guys being in this. I didn't want to take it away. I guess really what I wanted was a more expanded field, like a bigger field, rather than because I think all the guys that were in it were great to be in it. You know what I mean? Between the returns, the young upcomers.
The returns were awesome, like you said. One of them should have won for sure, if not both of them. But that is what it is. It was for the moment, not for them going on to ever beat John or face John for that matter. But then you do talk about those NXT guys like Javon Evans, like some others, where what does it do for Javon Evans to say, I was in that tournament, I lost to Gunther in the first round? I know people are like excited about him, people think he's gonna be awesome. I think so too, but it's just like maybe have him win a round or two. Like why does he get Gunther round one? What does that do for anyone?
Yeah, it's hard, and I think that the field that they put in place was one where anyone could move on. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, anyone could move on. You put a guy like Javon Evans, and he can lose in the first round and not be hurt by it. You put a guy like Solo in this, who's kind of meandering from okay, he could be really relevant, or he could fall into these irrelevancy really, really quickly, right? And he's got to win a few rounds. And now, what happened with Penta yesterday? The report is that Solo was going to win anyway. I don't know if I believe that, but Solo versus Gunther, I don't know. I think that could be a really great match. You mean you got two guys that can go, bigger guys. I'm excited to see it.
It's kind of clashing the same style
It
though.
is. It is. And that worries me, but I think that Solo needs to fully invest in the MFTs. I don't know if they're on payroll for Monday nights, but we need to get all four of them there. And if we want Gunther to have that win, like it would be over a Randy Orton, or it would be over I mean, Roman Reigns, but we're obviously those are like big wins, right? But if we want Gunther to have that, he needs to beat Solo with all the MFTs getting involved. Gunther actually has to play the babyface in that match, which is hard to believe, but like he just has to wrestle like it. He doesn't actually have to be the babyface.
Let's look at the updated bracket right now. So it is Gunther versus Solo on the one side. They're in the final four. The other side right now, it's Rusev versus Jey Uso and LA Knight versus a mystery opponent who, spoiler alert, on the SmackDown taping, it is The Miz, which I didn't see who won. I'm assuming LA Knight won again, but I didn't see who won that match. But I'm assuming we're going LA and Jay to this final four with Solo and Gunther. Is that semi-safe?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Rusev can win. Rusev is facing who?
Jay.
You said Rusev versus Jay. They're not going to have Jay lose to Rusev. I don't think they're going to give Jay a clean win. I think Rusev's going to get counted out or something like that. I don't think it's going to be clean. But I do think, yeah, I think you're on it. Jay, LA Knight. Are we doing this to run back Jay Gunther again?
I was gonna say, I think it's shaping up for another heartbreaking LA Knight defeat as he loses to Gunther in the finals. Like it,
Okay, so you think LA Knight gets past Jay and moves to
yeah,
Gunther. Okay.
he's the best second place finish. LA Knight lives in this territory. I hope he wins. I've said it 100 times. Like I'm team anyone but Gunther. I don't think this does anything for Gunther. This does nothing for me to being John's last match. There's a shot here where I feel like LA Knight has also peaked to a degree because they did such a poor job booking him and not capitalizing when he was as hot and as over as he possibly could be. But he gets this last match with John, and it does kind of defeat the purpose because he is in his mid 40s. But he gets this last match with John. There's a chance that he can take that into a world title. Like he can take that momentum and go somewhere with it. Where, sure, Gunther can too, but Gunther doesn't need anything. Gunther can go out and beat Punk tomorrow, and everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. But there's an opportunity here for LA Knight that I hope they capitalize on, but I expect Gunther to win.
I mean, I believe that Gunther is going to win wholeheartedly, but you know who I would love to see win this tournament?
Who?
I'd love to see Solo Sikoa win this tournament. Like, I'd love to see it. I think that would do so much more for Solo than any of the other guys in this match. Jay, I think this does the least for Jay, actually. Like, truthfully, I think Jay is high enough now in the standing in the company. He's in all these marquee matches. He doesn't need this at all. I think after that, you can list Gunther as a guy who doesn't really need this. You know what I mean? You're right. It would be huge for LA Knight, but LA Knight is already over with the crowd, and I think they'll get behind him if he starts winning again. Like if Solo's the guy who is the half, he could go either way at this point, in my opinion. I think some people have already written him off, and that's fair. I think some people are still very high on him because he is very charismatic. And if you listen to his promos, he cuts excellent promos. They're hysterical. He's great at being a heel. I think he'd one day make a really great babyface if they decide to turn him against the MFTs, which I hope they do. I think he's the guy that would benefit the most from this.
I think the goofballs just bring him down so much.
I agree. I agree. And I hope that he breaks away because his NXT gimmick was so cool. He was like, I forget if it was like the Street King or something like that, but he used to come out, towel over his head, just looking badass. Like he was so good. And now we see he's got this like goofy, like charismatic side to him. But it's funny, like
Yeah.
it's not goofy in a bad way. It's goofy in a good way. So he's got all of this character that they really haven't used, and he's great in the ring. Like he's got a sick finisher, and shout out to Dolph Ziggler for selling that spike better than I think I've seen anyone sell that spike. Like Solo has all the makings of a superstar, and it just feels like he's being held back by booking. And I know like guys have to go out there and get it, but that's a guy who's going out there and everything they're giving him, he's going out there and doing the best he can with it. So I hope for Solo. I know he's not going to win this tournament though. I know he's not beating Gunther.
You know he probably wasn't supposed to win last night, right?
So the rumor is, and I mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you heard me, but the rumor is that he was supposed to win. That's the report that I've seen today. I don't know if it's true, and I agree. I think it was going to be Penta Gunther. That match sells itself.
That
But
makes a lot more sense, it feels like.
yeah, but I don't think it's a bad thing that he's in this match. You know what I mean? And hopefully Penta gets well soon because we don't want to see him out. We love him. We love everything he brings to the table. So, but yeah, Gunther's going to win. There's probably not more to talk about this. With this.
But yeah, just final thoughts. You mentioned it earlier. Roman Reigns, I don't know how he was never even involved with John during this
Yeah,
year.
I mean, listen, I don't blame. Look, a lot of people are gonna blame Triple H, right? That's the easiest guy to go and blame, right? I don't blame Hunter for that one. You know what I mean? Like Roman's so limited in his schedule, and the things that Roman does are always a big deal. So yes, he wasn't with John, but he was always in other big things.
Did did Bronson Reed get two Roman Reigns matches this year? I
Yeah,
think it was two, right?
yes, too. Yeah,
We didn't need that. We could have had one of those go to John.
I agree. I agree, but also I see Bronson Reed differently now after.
Do you actually
After,
though? Do you
yeah, I
actually?
think I think Bronson Reed is a world heavyweight champion, WWE championship guy. It's not going to be a long reign. Like I think I've likened him to Kane and Big Show on the show before. I think he's put himself in that perspective, and I think Roman Reigns is a big reason why. Before the Roman Reigns feud, I would have said he probably doesn't hold the world championship. After the Roman Reigns feud, now I could see a world where Braun Breaker is the WWE champion, and Bronson Reed is the world heavyweight champion, and they're just running roughshod over the roster. But again, we got to get there. Obviously, there's a lot of pieces that would have to go in place there. But I do think Bronson Reed is a bigger deal because of his matches with Roman.
All
Look,
right.
it's tough because you take Roman away from Bronson Reed, and he's probably not as big a deal as he is now. You know what I mean? And sure, that's more important for us as John Cena fans, but. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's tough. I don't envy it. It'd be easy to book what we want because we just throw ideas out there. But there's only so many guys. There's only so many spots.
And listen, that means it worked. If you feel that way now about Bronson Reed, that means it worked.
I'm putting it this way. We're going to talk about that match, and I don't want to bury the lead. If they lose, I don't think he's the one taking the pinfall.
Okay, that's fair. Just one more thing before we go into the card itself. You mentioned Seth. I think we were going to get a John and Seth match if Seth didn't go down. All right, let's jump into this card. Only four matches confirmed right now. They might add another one or two, but I don't mind the four match cards. It seems like they've been working for Triple H's formula. First off, here we have the Women's World Championship match: Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella. I think it's pretty obvious here, but Frank, who do you have and why?
I'm going to take Nikki Bella.
Actually,
I'm going to take Nikki Bella. I think I feel like Stephanie's run has run flat. I think Nikki needs
it's
something to.
barely happened.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like very flat. It's been like a month and a half, and it feels like I don't even know. I'm gonna take Nikki Bella. I'm gonna take Nikki Bella. I think I see maybe Brie getting involved here. You
Oh,
know, maybe I don't know. I don't know if Brie's open if she wants to come back. Like if she does, perfect spot, right? Brie gets involved. She wins a championship, and then Stephanie probably wins it back. Like, I don't think it's going to be a long Nikki Bella reign, but I actually do think Nikki wins here.
That's shocking. When I like led into that, I thought we were both gonna be like, "Yep, easy Stephanie Vaquer next match." I mean, listen, if they want to give Nikki one last run, if they want to bring Brie back, like you alluded to, then it makes more sense. But Stephanie Vaquer just won this belt. Is this her first title defense? I know she beat Tiffany in the non-title match.
Yes.
All right, so it's her first title defense. She's not going to lose the first title defense.
She might have
Maybe,
had one on Raw. I can't remember now,
maybe
but
Nikki like wins by DQ, and then like a later date, Brie helps her win the title. I can see that happening, but you can't take it off her in her first defense.
listen, I hope they don't, but something just screams Nikki winning this match to me. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, listen,
It's a hunch. I can't explain it other than that.
I'll be different and take Stephanie Vaquer. That's
Okay.
fine. Uh, going to this next match here, Intercontinental Championship is on the line. John Cena, the champion, taking on Dominic Mysterio. I hate that John's not in the War Games match.
I wish he would have been in. Like I said, there's no stakes in that match, but with him in it, there would have been a lot of stakes. And then why did he lose to Brock Lesnar if he's not going to be in that match?
It
I
doesn't
thought this
make
would be the
sense.
I thought this would be the get back, and he had like four guys behind him, and then it's like, oh, Team Cena triumphs over Team Lesnar. You know what I mean? But
Once we made things silly and kind of veered away from the actual story at hand with the Vision and Punk and Jay, and we went to this place with, oh, Cody's here now, and Drew also came over while he's suspended. Paul like got him over somehow. Now Brock's here. Like once we veered away from there, just go all into it. Just put John Cena in this match. And I get it. Like people like Jimmy Uso. The Usos are great, but he is the giant elephant in the room here when you're looking at this match where it's like, why don't we have John Cena in the most important match on his second to last, really last pay-per-view?
yeah, no, I completely agree. I wish John was in the match. That being said, if he's going to wrestle someone, I love the fact that it's Dom Mysterio. I can't get enough of Dom Mysterio in 2025, and he needs to become a world champion in 2026.
So, yes, he does. And I almost feel bad saying this now because I've been beating the Dom drum for a very long time now. I wanted Dom to be the last match. I thought Dom should be the last match to beat John. And then they gave him the match at in Boston, and of course John took the belt off him. And they had the tag team match, the six-man tag, which was for fun and smiles. And now a third match here with Dom. And it's good. Like I said, I'm happy Dominic's in this spot, but I think we could have done things a little differently here, shaken this up a little differently here, made this more impactful. And it was a huge moment in Boston when Dom was out there. That was a huge moment for Dom's career. But I don't know. I just feel like now we're doing this again here, where it's like, I don't know.
It feels wrong when anyone got two matches, except for Cody when he lost at Mania and then won months later. I'm okay with that. Nobody else should have gotten two matches, so I agree with that. But at this point, anybody else you wanted to see John clash with is in that War Games match, right? Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar again, Drew McIntyre, who I would have had been my guy who would have retired John Cena if I had the ultimate say. I would have taken Drew McIntyre. I think that would have, taken all these losses that Drew has taken in championship matches and kind of put them all to bed. And I do believe that of all the guys who can cut a great promo about how they retired John Cena, Drew McIntyre would cut the greatest promo about how he retired John Cena. But, even Seth Rollins, another guy, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, if they wanted to do that one-on-one match, like all these different guys who I would want to see face John in one of his last matches are in that War Games match. So,
There's one name you didn't say, and I thought he was actually a lock once we saw that Dom was already off the board and there were 3 or 4 appearances left. I thought Joe Hendry was going to have his debut, his big moment,
mm,
and have that match with John. I thought that was all lining up to be there. Of course, the news broke that he's now a WWE superstar. He officially left TNA, but I thought Hendry was going to be one of the guys.
yeah, I mean, look, he's just an NXT guy right now. Saturday night's main event, right? John had said that it's going to be NXT talent taking on WWE talent, right?
Hmm.
I expect to see Joe Hendry there among other prominent NXT superstars. We'll obviously hop more into that in a second, but there are a lot of really great talents in NXT right now. We talk about Trick and a lot of the women Sol Ruka I don't know. I'm not going to start listing off a bunch of people, but there's a lot of people in NXT that are going to put on really entertaining matches that night. I hope they have like a 5 or 6 max card, and I hope that it's all NXT versus WWE talent. I want to see today versus the future. You know what I mean? I think it's a really cool concept, and I think it's something they should keep going yearly for sure.
So, Frank, for the winner of this match, who do you got?
I think the title has to go back to Dom, and that hurts me to say because it seems like ends his career on a 2 game losing streak. Like that's tough, you know? Like that's tough for me.
Maybe he wins the last match.
Maybe he wins. Maybe he wins the last match. Maybe, yeah.
So you're gonna take Dom?
But I have to take Dom in this one again. My gut's telling me Dom. I hope Cena wins. I don't want to see him go out on a two. You know,
Dom needs his win back, so we'll have Dom win. That's a huge moment for him. Survivor Series, John Cena,
in
massive
San Diego, Dom's
in
hometown.
San Diego. Like I said, I really, really wanted Dom to be the last match. It's also possible that Ray comes out and helps John retain, which would be kind of weird because I don't know if we want the title on John going into that last match. Like I feel like the match is big enough by itself that it doesn't need to be and new Intercontinental Champion. Like I feel that's kind of just a. I mean, it's fine, but like it's just an added wrinkle for kind of no reason.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He doesn't need the IC title. I don't think it hurts or it can't happen. You know what I mean? But I don't see him going. I think it's a storyline that they probably don't want. They just want John versus X, and X is probably Gunther.
all right, so we'll both take Dominic to be the new champion then. Our women's war game match, we have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, that's Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Becky Lynch. They pretty much pulled out every name they had here. Looking at this list, Lash Legend, pretty cool. She made her debut recently alongside Nia Jax. She looks like she's in a pretty prominent position, so that's good to see. But overall, how do you feel about this match?
You know what? I was like so-so on this match until last night on Raw, and Becky Lynch cut probably my favorite promo of the year. She went all in to like her self-absorbed, like everything like the sun and the world just revolves around me. She was talking about how Nia Jax is almost as much as a powerhouse as she is. She was talking about how she found Lash Legend and put her on her team. She was talking about how Asuka and her always clash and they always put on these close matches even though Becky wins 90% of the time. Like just in running down the team and insulting them and doing so in a perfect way. I thought it was like I said, and the reactions of just all the girls like as she's talking to them are they're just so like they can't take it or whatever. Um it was really great and now I'm really excited for this match. Thank you Becky Lynch for that.
Yeah, Becky's definitely thriving with this current character. Of course, she dropped the belt last week, putting over Maxine Dupree, but she has done great work with her character on the mic. She is excellent. We kind of joke about it that Rhea Ripley comes back for War Games every year, where she has some kind of random injury, and then you hear this is my brutality, and she shows up with some kind of face mask or some kind of nagging injury. It's a pretty stacked team, though. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair on one side, Alexa Bliss and Io Sky too, with AJ Lee. I mean, all five of them is not really a weak link here. I'm trying to think because I don't know who I want to win or who I think is going to win either match yet, honestly, as I'm doing this, because it'll probably be one face and one heel typically. That's probably how it's going to play out. But do you have a
Actually,
feel?
so I'm thinking about this, right? And I'm thinking back, do you remember any heel teams winning war games since it's been strictly WWE?
Honestly, I don't really have a great recollection of the women's matches.
Yeah, no, me neither. And that's why I'm trying to think maybe one of them slipped in, but I don't think any of the men's heel teams have won. Judgment Day didn't win the night Punk came back.
So we joke about it with the heel men's teams that, and so far the formula is playing out. They always win
The the advantage,
the
yeah.
advantage match on Raw, and it's just the two guys beating up the one guy for a half hour, and it's just how are they going to overcome these odds? And the formula plays out the same way every single time. Where this year might be the time where they mix it up, but so far the heels won last night, correct? They have the advantage.
Yes, the heels did win last night.
Yeah,
Logan Paul rolled up Jimmy Uso. And the heels do have the advantage. I
there,
don't. Did they do
there's
women's
Jimmy.
advantage last night? Now I'm trying to remember. Now I'm like, I'm so no, because the women just fought
Yeah, they
in
just
the
had that
ring.
little brawl out
So
moment.
they'll do women's advantage on Friday. We'll find out who has the advantage. I think the face team gets the advantage for the women. Um, and I think the face team wins this match.
Okay, you think the faces win this match?
I, yeah, I think that they're not gonna have AJ Lee be in this match, take the loss. They've already started spinning the story about how they're all tired of Becky again with that great promo that she cut. Um, it's just an easy way to see that the heel team falls apart in the match and the face team wins. And again, there's no stakes here. Don't have Lash Legend take the pin, and that's it. No, I don't do it. You know what I mean? Like she looks great. She's got like this very powerhouse vibe. You know what I mean? Similar to what Jade brought to the table, similar to what Rhea brings to the table. Right? Just don't have her take the pin, and I think that that's how this match goes.
I'm gonna take the heels.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the heels to win this match. I'm gonna say Becky pins AJ.
That would be something, and if they do win, I hope that it goes exactly like that.
We do know at
Uh,
WrestlePalooza when Punk and AJ beat Seth and Becky. We knew this feud was eventually going to happen. We didn't know how it was going to play out. Of course, AJ came back here. Becky joined the heel team. I think it will be very weird and shaky and like heelish, of course. I mean, they're in the cage, so it's not really like it's not no DQ or anything like that, but maybe like Nia does all the work and like at the very end, like Becky just pins AJ, like something like that, like some kind of storytelling that where she didn't do the hard part, but she got the win.
my favorite things for these matches, and we'll go through it for both matches, but I'm curious who starts the match for both teams.
Um, let's see. I mean, it's usually Io Sky for these kind of things, right?
I was gonna say Io or Rhea, I think work here, but the thing is like I want to say Nia and Rhea would be an amazing start to this match, but having Nia rush out there, especially if
Yeah.
the heels have the advantage, right? That's a big deal. Having Rhea run out there is a big deal. Having Io and Kyrie be the ones that start because they are literally. I mean, AJ's gonna have to stay in the cage for a second because they want that pop, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's gonna be Io and Kyrie or Io and Asuka.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I was like, I picked Io already, and I think it's looking at either Asuka or Kyrie. Asuka's the bigger match there, so they'll probably send out Kyrie to like kind of avert expectations for a little bit. We'll probably get that big Io Asuka match at some point down the road. So I think Io versus Kyrie makes the most sense. And then if it stays true, then they'll send out Lash Legend to go beat up Io when she has control of the match.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, and then Becky AJ is the last two.
Probably. That probably
I'm
makes the
I'm
most.
assuming that AJ is going to be last. They probably don't want her in like a as her second match back, being in there for like an hour plus. You know what I mean, or like whatever, however long these matches go.
Yeah, it'd probably be like Alexa and then Charlotte, Rhea, AJ.
I think Alexa's another one that could start too for the face team if they don't go Io. But I would just go Io. She's probably the best wrestler in this match, or just from a technical standpoint. So
All right, so I'll take the heels. You'll take the faces. Who do you have getting the final pin?
Charlotte pinning Nia. Get a little weird, right?
Okay, sure. And as I said, I will take Becky to pin AJ Lee. Now for the men's match. On the good guy on the face side here, we have CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Roman Reigns versus the Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul, with Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. A lot of names here. A lot going on. Frank, I'll let you start off here. I know this is something else that our friend the heel who was going to come on here did not like at all the way this build has been going. He thought it was really like messy, mushed together. I know you're less critical, as I previously said. How have you felt about the way this all came together?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have had Brock come out one week and then Roman come out the next week. I wouldn't have done that on the same night. Absent that, everything else has been, I think, pretty normal flow of everything, right? Logan joined one night, Jay and Cody were there, or I should say, Cody was there for Cena's last Raw, and they used that as the excuse for him to be out there helping his bud CM Punk, Like it just like I thought that all flowed fine. They have Jay has the history with the Vision, Jimmy has the history with the Vision, so that stuff all made sense. To me, it was just that last one where it was like, all right, Roman and Brock on the same night was like obviously huge. It was Madison Square Garden. They wanted to do the whole thing. But yeah, no, I don't think it was that crazy, like all over the place.
Do you see any crazy things happening in this match? I'm going to go right out and say it right now. Jimmy Uso gets taken out backstage. John Cena, who lost early in the night, has to answer the bell, has to answer the call for the face team in this last really great moment because I know obviously the last match will be great, but This is War Games. This is a spectacle. Tagging alongside Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. Like John needs to be in this match. I'm holding out hope. I think John gets in this match. Someone's gonna take out Jimmy Uso before the match, and John replaces him.
Yeah, I mean, I hate doing this to Jimmy because I like Big Jim. You know what I mean? Like I like Jimmy. There's no problem with him being in this match. There's a ton of star power. He's absolutely been in big matches before. But yeah, I was gonna say that I think the biggest variable is if they really want to pull one over that Jimmy is replaced. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be Cena. I think if Jimmy gets replaced, it's gonna be LA Knight. Because he has that history with the Vision. Or I don't know. Maybe there's someone we're not thinking of here. Chris Jericho's name has been floated around endlessly. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense here, but could be somebody like that. Maybe somebody that we're completely not thinking of. I am officially putting myself in the Kevin Owens can show up at any time from here on out, even though I know that it was slated that he might even miss Mania this year, but nobody really knows, and we didn't get a direct diagnosis. And he's been out for, I think, 8 or 9 months now. So 8 or 9 months to me, that means you can return every time. I'm not expecting it. If he's not ready to go, I obviously want him to be as healthy as possible. So no rush back, Kevin. But I would pop huge if it was like something like that. And again, I'm just letting my mind wander here. Like I said, I think it's probably going to be LA Knight. I love the Cena idea too, but I think LA Knight has the history with the Vision.
Who are you taking to win this match?
I'm taking the heels. I'm taking the heels.
I so in your hypothetical, I mean, it's a really tough sell, even with Jimmy Uso being the perceived weak link. I know it's kind of mean to say and not right, but it's a tough sell to see a side with Roman, Punk, and Cody and say that team's not going to win.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But the great equalizer is Brock Lesnar on the other side, who doesn't take losses, right?
And Drew who does lose,
And
but
Drew,
Drew's
and
good.
you don't want to hurt Braun Breaker, and Logan Paul doesn't really lose that much either. Like Logan Paul beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Logan Paul doesn't lose that much either. So they did all this work to build up Bronson Reed. So I'm like, I'm sitting here and there's no benefit to the faces winning and all the benefit in the world to the heels winning. Nobody on the face team loses or gains anything by winning this match.
Frank, what do you have for the finish then for the heels to win?
Okay, I am taking Braun Breaker, pins.
Jimmy Uso.
No, it can't be Jimmy. That would be pointless. That would be like the most pointless. It's got to be one of the three of them. I just don't know which one of the
It should
three.
be Roman. It
It
should be
should be
Roman.
Roman. It
Yeah.
should be Roman. And if it's not Roman, it should be Cody. I honestly don't even think Punk gets the job done because,
They're
I
already kind of on the same playing field on Raw.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think Braun Breaker pins Roman Reigns to
Wow.
end this match. That's the right way to do this, right? Like that is the right way to do. You want he look. All due respect to Bronson Reed, who, like I said, I think has built a great character, right? They want Braun Breaker to be the superstar. He's the youngest man in this match at 28 years old, which in wrestling is very young. You know what I mean? 28 is nothing. You're a baby in wrestling. He looks the part. He cuts a great promo. You want him to be everything. Roman Reigns doesn't get hurt by taking this pin. Have Braun Breaker do one of his super spears into Roman Reigns and pin him 1, 2, 3.
And Roman, whoever takes the pin, if Roman was to take the pin, he would have already eaten like two F5s. He would have already been
Yeah,
he would
absolutely.
have went through it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna double down on my insanity. I'm gonna say the finish of this match. I have the good guys winning. John Cena pins Logan Paul.
Okay.
And
If Cena's in it, I would say John Cena pins Brock Lesnar.
no, they're not gonna pin Brock.
Well, that would be the whole point of Brock beating him earlier in the year is that he's got to have a moment with Brock where he gets it back. You know what I mean?
He should
Like,
have a moment where he gives him an FU, an attitude adjustment, but like you also shouldn't pin Brock right now. That doesn't
all
make much
right,
sense.
fair. All right, fair enough.
Unless it's like one of those. I just don't even think they would do it. One of those moments where like all five guys hit their finish, and like, but I don't even. I feel you don't pin Brock right now.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, we alternated. I have the faces for the men, and I have the heels for the women, and you have vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, like I said at the beginning, right? There's no stakes, so anyone could win.
Frank, it's been a lot of fun. Let's have a lot of fun this Saturday and have a great show. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.